Hello, and welcome to Build Your English, the podcast that helps you speak everyday English with confidence and ease. I'm your host, Jessica. In today's episode, we are going to explore something very powerful and maybe a little surprising. Fluency does not begin with grammar books or long vocabulary lists. It begins in your mind. If you want to speak fluent English, the first step is to learn how to think smart. Today, I will guide you through this idea, explain why it works, and share with you practical ways to change the way you think so that your English can flow more naturally, more confidently, and more clearly. So let's begin our journey together. When people talk about learning English, they often imagine heavy textbooks, long lists of words, and complicated grammar exercises. But fluency actually begins before any of that. It begins with your thoughts. Every sentence you speak in English is first born inside your mind. If your mind is full of fear, if you are too worried about being perfect, if you are translating word by word from your native language, then your mouth will not move smoothly. The words will come out slowly or sometimes not at all. That is why the way you think is so important. Thinking smart means you focus on communication instead of perfection. It means using simple words and short sentences. It means trusting yourself and reducing the noise inside your head. When you think smart, your English becomes clear and confident. Let's talk about the difference between thinking smart and overthinking. Overthinking is one of the biggest problems for English learners. Imagine this situation. You want to say, "I didn't sleep well last night because I was thinking about work." But instead of speaking, your brain starts asking questions. Should I say, "I had poor sleep," or "I didn't sleep well"? Should I use past continuous? Should I say, "my job" or "my work"? And by the time you finish analyzing, the moment to speak has already passed. This is what happens when you overthink. Now, what does thinking smart look like? You just say, "I didn't sleep well. I was thinking about work." Short, simple, direct. The message is delivered. Thinking smart is not about showing off big words or complex grammar. It is about expressing your ideas clearly and quickly. Many learners face common mental blocks that stop them from speaking. One of the biggest is the fear of mistakes. You may feel afraid that if you say something wrong, people will laugh at you or judge you. But the truth is, mistakes are not dangerous. In fact, they are evidence that you are learning. Every mistake you make is a step forward, not a step backward. Another common block is focusing too much on grammar. Grammar is important, of course, but when you try to apply rules while speaking, your brain freezes. It's like driving a car and trying to calculate the exact angle of the steering wheel every second. If you do that, you will crash. Driving needs to be natural, and speaking works the same way. Translating from your native language is another block. When you translate word by word, your brain gets slow and your sentences often sound unnatural. For example, in some languages, you might say, "Today morning I go shop." If you translate directly, people might understand you, but it does not sound like natural English. Thinking directly in English, you would say, "I went shopping this morning." The difference is clear. Finally, lack of practice is a huge block. Many learners wait until they feel ready, but waiting does not help. Knowledge without practice is like a car without fuel. You can sit inside, but the car will never move. So, how can you train your brain to think smart and speak fluently? The good news is that there are practical strategies that really work. One of the best is to build the habit of daily English thought. This means you take a few minutes every day to describe your world in English. You do not need to write it down. You do not need to speak loudly. Just think. For example, when you wake up, you can think, "The sun is bright today." When you're waiting for the bus, you can think, I am standing at the bus stop. The bus is late. When you are hungry, you can think, I want some rice. These are simple sentences, but they train your brain to think directly in English. Over time, this habit changes the way you process language. Another powerful method is shadowing. Shadowing means listening to English and repeating at the same time. You can play a podcast or a video and speak along with the speaker. Do not worry about being perfect. Focus on rhythm, tone, and flow. The more you do this, the more natural patterns of English will enter your brain. Recording yourself is another excellent habit. Take your phone, record yourself speaking for 1 or 2 minutes, and then listen back. You will notice mistakes, but you will also notice progress. Listening to your own voice helps you become more aware and builds confidence. It's also important to reduce the pressure of vocabulary. Many learners think they need thousands of advanced words to sound fluent, but that is not true. Fluency comes from using simple, common words effectively. For example, instead of memorizing enormous, gigantic, or colossal, just use big. Native speakers use simple words all the time. The key is not how many words you know, but how well you use them. Another part of thinking smart is positive self-talk. If you keep telling yourself, I can't speak English, I'm bad at English, then your brain will believe it. Instead, tell yourself, I am learning, I can speak, I'm improving every day. Positive thoughts give you energy, and energy makes your speech stronger. Let's put these ideas into practice with real-life examples. Imagine you're in a cafe. The waiter asks, what would you like? If you are overthinking, you might panic and try to remember complicated phrases. But if you think smart, you simply say, a coffee, please, or I'd like a tea. It's fast and clear. Another example, you see a friend on the street. Instead of freezing, just smile and say, hey, how's it going? Or long time no see. These are small phrases, but they create connection. Remember, the goal is not perfection. The goal is communication. Now, let's talk about consistency. Fluency is not built in one day. It is built slowly, drop by drop, like water filling a glass. Every time you practice, you add a drop. When you think in English, when you shadow a podcast or a short video, when you speak out loud about your day in simple sentences, record yourself and listen back, then repeat with small corrections. This whole routine takes only a few minutes, but if you repeat it every day, your fluency will grow naturally and steadily. Confidence is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. At first, you may feel nervous to say even one sentence, but each time you practice, you grow stronger. Start with small steps. Speak one sentence. Next time, speak 2 sentences. Then try a short conversation. Over time, your confidence will expand. That brings us to the end of today's episode of Build Your English. We explored why fluency begins in the mind. We discovered that thinking smart means using simple words and short sentences, avoiding direct translation, and reducing fear. We talked about daily English thought, shadowing, self-recording, and the importance of consistent practice. Most importantly, we learned that fluency is not about perfection, but about connection and confidence. If you enjoyed this episode, please take a moment to subscribe or follow Build Your English podcast. Share it with a friend who is also learning, because practicing together makes the journey more fun and effective. Your support means a lot to us, and it helps this podcast grow so I can keep bringing you more useful English every week. I'm Jessica, and I will be back soon with another episode to help you speak real, everyday English with confidence. Until then, keep practicing, keep smiling, and keep building your English. Take care and happy learning.